I swear Trump got beef with the Malis. They're trying to take over the town. That's what he reckons. He reckons the Malis have taken over Minneapolis. Now, quick disclaimer before we get into this video, you know, because people might think me saying Malis is a derogatory term. It's not. That's what we call the Somalis in London. We call them the Malis, all right? And they'll say Ujares, all right? Malis have been in the UK since the 1800s. They were here in small groups, and during the World War, when Somalia was called British Somalia, I think it was. I mean, where has Britain not been? You know, where is it not ruled over? But they were helping in World War II, and there were some Somali soldiers, Somali families, you know, they just decided to stay in the UK. So there was Somalians in the UK. My knowledge on Somalia is kind of limited, so any Malis watching the video, let me know more in the comment section below. But it was 1991 when the government of Somalia collapsed, when Siad Barre was overthrown. I know I butchered that name. He was actually backed by the Soviet Union until the late 70s, when the Soviet Union decided to side with Ethiopia instead. And then the Cold War happened, and America thought, hey, you know, we'll back Somalia because this is a strategic position to have in the Cold War. For those of you guys that don't know the Cold War, if you don't remember, I only know this because of my history lessons. We were like this close to nuclear war happening, but it was one of the Russian commanders who didn't sign off on, you know, starting a nuclear war with America because there was a false alarm, and he's the only one who believed it was a false alarm. But since 1991, since the government collapsed, it's been chaos. In 2006, Ethiopia tried to invade, or they did invade, I'm not sure. And nowadays, you'll hear a lot of Malis claim that they are from Somaliland. It's not officially recognized, but, you know, it's gaining traction, and eventually it will become, I mean, Somalia is going to end up being divided into Somaliland and Somalia. Obviously, during the period of destabilization, I know people joke and say, oh, ISIS fell off. You know, if you guys remember Al-Shabaab, bro, secondary school was so crazy. Like, my brethren who's Mali, innit, bro. Like, I remember in secondary, I used to call him Al-Shabaab. Like, that's mental, innit? It's mad, it's mental. But I saw this video from Donald Trump. Well, this video of Donald Trump talking about Somali immigrants in America, because as I'm sure most of you guys know, Minneapolis has a lot of Somalis there. There's a growing Somali community out there. I was even in Asda a couple months, maybe near the start of the year, maybe like 6 months ago, but it was such a random interaction. I just remember this. I'm walking in Asda, and because I'm tall like this, I just hear a voice, an American accent that says, "What's the weather like up there?" And I'm looking, and I see this Mali woman and what looks like obviously her dad or maybe her granddad or her uncle or something that lives in the UK. He was just giving me a death stare. We had a little convo, and I'm like, nah, you're defo from Minneapolis, innit? She's like, yeah, that's right. Like, you know what I mean? But whoever that family member was just giving me a death stare because he's probably thinking like, what is she doing? But here is the video of Donald Trump talking about Somali immigrants, and it's dark. It's dark, I can't lie.
And they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point.
It's not even funny anymore. Like, it's mad.
We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These are...
Bro, she's basically calling every Mali garbage. That's what he's basically saying. Yo, Ilhan Omar, she is the only Somalian politician I've seen in America. You know, obviously she's very vocal. He's just, it's mental.
People that say, let's go, come on, let's make
like, can you imagine Keir Starmer saying something like this? It'd be mental, but obviously it's different because the UK literally used to rule over Somalia.
This place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from...
We all complain, Donald, right?
Where they came from.
I even need to be careful with my commentary on Donald Trump, because I'm hearing, like, when you enter the US and they decide to check your phone, they will really, like, deny you entry if you say anything mad about the president. It's mental.
They got nothing.
I thought it was the land of the free. Hey.
You know, they came from paradise and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't...
This is the US, like, it's crazy. It's mad times we're in.
Want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much, everybody.
And they're clapping. He gets a round of applause. Oh my God. Look, this is like, you can't take politics too seriously, bro. All right, it's all just puppets. They're all puppets being controlled, and it's all to distract you from looking up. Because if you don't give the commoners, I think that's the right term, commoners, people who aren't a part of the elite, something to look down on, then they're gonna begin to look up. And when they look up, they're gonna realize, hold on a second, how are like 0.0001% of you controlling the rest of us? Like, what? And what? You're making things bad? Let's just kill them. You know what I mean? That's what we would conclude to, you know. And the elites, they can't let that happen, you know. And I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm not inciting that. I'm just saying that would be the thought process, in my opinion. That's what I think would happen most likely. And look, there's Malis everywhere, bro. Sweden, I've been to Sweden quite a few times. I was in Rinkeby. I was baking off in Rinkeby. I've actually got a vlog myself in Rinkeby that I didn't end up releasing, but I recorded that like over a year ago. I might release it if you guys want me to. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the vid, give it a like, please. Like the video, you know what I mean? It's right under the description. Thank you. Just me being comfy in Rinkeby, bro. I was comfy out there. Shooting capital of Europe at one point, but man was comfy out there, bro. Even got my phone repaired and stuff, you know what I mean? But I remember when I was younger, there was all the talk about Al-Shabaab, you know, like, oh my God, they're terrorists, etc. But when you see what these terrorist groups are actually fighting for, yeah, if you talk to the average person from whichever country this terrorist group is in, they're gonna be like, no, like, I don't want them to rule. I don't want to live how they want us to live, bro, you know, because they are extremists, okay? But the idea they try and sell you is, oh, you know, they're all like that. They all believe that, when it's just not the case. But right now, everything in America, I mean, the whole world, every economy, everything's not doing well. Everyone's lives are getting worse across the world. In some places, their lives are getting better. But in the West, everyone's lives are getting progressively worse. And it's simply because the wealthy, ruling class, the rich just want more. That's why the UK is becoming a surveillance state, because they control the government. They will be able to control everybody and have surveillance over all of us. That's the end goal, because they've got enough money. They can buy, they can have anything, they can do what they want. The richest man in the world is sending freaking rockets up in space and stuff like that, playing in space, talking about colonizing Mars. They're bored. They're bored. They just need control. They need to have more control over us. And you know, in history lessons, when you'd hear about leaders, you know, doing crazy things, you know, when you'd hear about, what was his name, King Henry, having a wife, and if she didn't give him a boy, he'll divorce her, and then keep doing that. Can you see, can you see how world leaders, like, when the power gets to their head, they'll just start moving and doing crazy things, and it's just accepted, you know? You're seeing it now. I think Donald Trump is just a big distraction. And I think he does have a white supremacist ideology, because he keeps on reinforcing the idea that, you know, come on, Americans, we're better than these lot. Look at these third worlders. Look at that. Look at all these terms. When a lot of Somalis who had to flee the civil war that happened in their country, they've seen some traumatic stuff, bro, some crazy things. And in war, who suffers? The ruling class, the upper class, they don't suffer, all right? Their kids are not fighting in wars. Their kids are not getting terrorized. They're negotiating with the people ruling. If I'm in Somalia and I own like a bunch of businesses, I'm one of the wealthiest people in a town that's going to get taken over by Al-Shabaab, just hypothetical here. Either I'm going to come to an agreement with Al-Shabaab, yeah, because that's what they do. That's what the rich do. Like, it doesn't matter left or right in government. They're going to make friends with them so they can just do what they want to do for them, you know, so they can keep running their businesses, keep making money and maintain their position. Or if they're shit scared of Al-Shabaab and they don't want to negotiate, they're just gonna leave. They'll flee. They have the money. They'll take their family and stuff and they'll leave. They'll leave where they are. They're upper class. They're gonna have more qualifications. They're gonna be more literate, etc. They'll be fine. But the commoner, you know, and that is a lot of the asylum seekers and refugees that we have come into the West. They're just going through hell. They ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? They've already lost everything. A lot of them, you know, their lives that they had in their home countries, their lives have already been ruined. So they come to the West in the hopes of building a better life for themselves. And once they come here, in order to distract you from looking up, they say, oh no, that person there, that's that Mali there, you're better than him, he's a third worlder, etc. They'll reinforce that idea so you think they're better than them. When in reality, we're all just our experiences. That person is who they are because of their experiences, because of where they were raised. They'll sell you the idea. They'll say, oh, you know, look at these. They're coming here. They're raping people. They're killing. They're beheading. All this stuff like that. But when you check the laws of the country they've come from, that stuff is illegal. In some cases, the punishment there is more harsh than the punishment over here. And my argument is it's about connectivity. I think we underestimate how important connectivity is. And, you know, I'm sure you guys, and the part of the globalist agenda, allegedly, you know, with mobile phones, having everyone connected, but only connected on devices and networks that they control, and only consuming content that is filtered through what they want you to see, that will allow them to control the whole world. Mobile phones, I'm sure majority of places in the world, everyone has a mobile phone, bro. In the next, it can't be more than 40 years. I'm sure everyone in the world will have a mobile phone, bro. Maybe even quicker than that, as they become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, because you are the product with mobile phones. That's why mobile phones are super cheap these days. They've always been not too expensive, but they're dirt cheap. Because the guy from Grimsby and the guy from London in the UK are going to live completely different lives. If there weren't any mobile phones, you know, if there weren't any trains, you know, if there weren't roads that connected everyone to Grimsby, what do you think Grimsby would look like? Because hypothetically here, the guy from Somalia, from a small town who's not been connected to much, has just lived within his town, who comes to the UK, and maybe you see a video of him riding the train with his feet out, or doing something that's not normal over here. You need to understand that could be the guy from Grimsby as well. Why do you think around the UK it's so culturally different? You know, it's so culturally different because it used to be harder to get to these places. As time's gone on, the island has become more connected. I mean, HS2 has been delayed until like 2040. I'm going to have kids by the time HS2 is built. How crazy is that? Well, hopefully I do. Nah, Tankz, man, you're talking nonsense. You're talking absolutely nonsense. Well, have you guys heard of the Pitcairn, or what, Pitcairn? I don't even know how to pronounce them. Islands, British colony, British overseas territory. This island is absolutely in the middle of nowhere. It's absolutely in the middle of nowhere. It's in between New Zealand and Chile, Peru, Ecuador. This is one of the most remote islands on the planet, all right? If I remember correctly, the British found it. They discovered it. They built a little settlement there, or I think it goes back to, you should watch a video on it because it's so freaking interesting. But I watched this video years ago where I think it was a British sailor or something. He discovered the island, left or something, left some people and came. I forget the story. Look at the story though. It's an interesting story. But long story short, a very tiny group of tens of inhabitants were on this island, and they were remote. Like, they weren't connected to British civilization for a long time. No connectivity. From back when you needed boats to communicate, etc. Yeah? And I know I butchered the history because there's so much more history on this island. There's a lot more. Well, pedophilia was normal on this island. Yeah, it was normalized. Pedophilia. It was normalized. They were even convicted because it was a British territory. And when the British found out what they were getting up to on that island, like I'm talking incest, like breaking in, it was absolutely insane. They faced trial. A former island mayor was found guilty of downloading scores of hardcore abuse images and films featuring children as young as 6. And this was 10 years after, I think it was in 2001, when they decided to prosecute everyone because they were like, what on earth is going on here? This is crazy, because they're still bound by the British legal system. Hence my argument that it's not that you're better than people, bro. It's about connectivity, you know, advancing. So to all the Marleys watching, big yourselves up, man. And, you know, right now, they're targeting the Muslims, you know, and you guys, I mean, I don't know if you guys call yourself black or not, but you guys are brown-skinned Muslims, you know what I mean? So you guys are like going to be top of the list for American politics. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Correct me if I was wrong about anything in the comment section below. Also, thank you so much for watching the video. Chung Lee, what do you think? Chung Lee said, I've never seen a Somalian in my life. We've never seen any Marleys in Hong Kong. And Chung Lee said no. All right. Okay. Peace and love to every single one of you guys watching. Thank you.